Hi, everybody. Good Lord, you're all thinking, what's this?
Ho, ho, ho.
An extra present from us to you? Well, indeed. We've decided to have a bit of an extra thing tonight because primarily Spencer's got a new toy.
I have.
He has. He's got other side, mate. There we go.
Everything's backwards. I'm looking at it on the screen.
Yeah, he's got a new one of these, and suddenly his audio is beautifully clear. I never realised he even sounded like that.
No, it's true.
I thought I was expecting James Mason, and it's completely different to what I was expecting.
Indeed. I know. Well, what can I say? I'm obviously, now you can fully hear how colded up I've been of late. Yeah, so we thought we'd just, I don't know how many people are, if anybody's watching this, actually.
There are some people who've given up on the Christmas wrapping this evening.
So for all of you people who have become bored of wrapping presents, I've just finished mine. So get your fingers out. Come on, sort yourselves out. We just thought we'd just do this as a test, really, to see how the audio sounds. Visually, it sounds okay, because this is, as I mentioned earlier, during the now notoriously error-strewn performance that I made the other night, where my new ORAC is working relatively well today. So just trying to sort of see how the audio goes, because obviously this is the setup we're going to use going into the new year for this when I'm taking part. So firstly, I have to thank John for sending me a parcel. I got home from buying the last of the produce that we needed, including the leeks, which you've got to have with the Christmas lunch, with creamy cheese sauce, as we all know. And there was a little parcel, and I thought, I haven't ordered anything. What on earth is that? And there it was, this little microphone. So ideal, I think it's fairly safe to say. And yes, we do appear to have some people.
So we appear to have some technical interference here at the moment, and here he is.
What's going on? What's going on? What's happening?
I told you, keep it. Don't tell him. We're having a party. Don't tell him.
Have you got to stop talking about me now?
No.
He says
no. Honestly, Drew, what it was is 5 minutes ago. Because Spencer, we bought Spencer a microphone.
I know exactly. I know exactly what it's about.
So this is it's literally just a quick test to see what the audio level is and everything. So it's kind of like as I say, it's an extra Christmas gift that nobody asked for.
Sounds absolutely great, Spence. It really does. Yeah. That's what it needed.
Yes, indeed. So I'm kind of happy about that. And I can only apologise for bailing in the way that I did but I find it extremely distracting if I know that something's not right, because all the time I'm thinking about that rather than thinking about what I want to say. And often what I want to say is a load of rubbish anyway. So I don't need anything else in the mix that makes my conversational points even more rubbish than they would normally be. So yes, thank you for that. But I guess we were sort of like 20 minutes, sort of half an hour tops, really. But
90 minutes later.
Yes. Well, I can't. Unfortunately,
the unplanned one that lasted 6.5 hours.
Yes, indeed. But my son's here, and we are going to have some food at some point. We haven't had any lunch yet. So, but why don't we just use this just to maybe discuss what I put up on my page earlier on, and that was Kit of the Year, because I think we sort of skirted around this, haven't we? And we could maybe do that and then see what people kind of think. I've sort of put it across all the platforms and everything. John, you can perhaps share it onto the IMC as well. So I'll sort of start, really. I think I mentioned this the other day, but my Kit of the Year is going to be is now, because I've announced is the Picara. I've gone for that, taking everything kind of into account, really, and that's sort of what I've gone for the reasons that I mentioned, not only on my page but the other day. I mentioned about price and complexity and all of those kind of things, and everything sort of taken into account. But I think interestingly, I put it on my website as well, and some other people came up with some that I thought, oh, actually, I hadn't really thought of those, including the Whirlwind, which I would imagine that John has got a particular sort of feeling towards, and also the Gladiator 32nd scale, or the Sea Gladiator, which I thought was quite interesting. Yeah, so interesting choices.
I think ultimately you're always going to choose based on something you've actually built, really, haven't you? You know, I'd find it difficult to pick a kit of the year based on what I've looked at in a box.
Yeah,
you know. So whereas yours is a Pucara, mine is the Bronco.
Yes,
which looks like a broadly, broadly comparable in overall quality, detail, build, all that sort of thing. It's both represent kind of a bit of a step up even further than those companies have already gone, I think.
I wondered actually, after you'd sort of built yours and you sort of mentioned it, I wondered if my opinion had changed had I built the OV10.
I don't know, because like I say, Spence, I think they're both broadly comparable in most ways, if you know what I mean, in terms of the execution, the quality of the tooling, the plastic quality, all that. They all, you could put the Pucara and that Bronco next to each other if you built them both, and you would be hard pressed to say they were from different companies.
Yes, it seems
like
that when you look at them in the box.
Yeah. So yeah, but really, I think a kit of the year has to be based on, for me, something I've built.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. It's I'm looking at all the things that I've built this year, and there were a number of brand new kits, brand new, new tool items that came out this year, but ultimately, the one that I keep going back to, and I think it was just it was a magnificent kit in itself, but it was also just a fantastically joyous kind of experience building it. And it was one of those models where I felt I managed to bring my A game to it, that everything fell into place and everything felt, I wasn't forcing anything on it. It was, it was all the accumulation of skills, so to speak, all just came naturally. It's a bit like as a musician, everything flowed. Suddenly I was in the groove, and it was great. And of all the projects I've done this year, I keep looking back at that little Lambs Bulldog, and I think it was fantastic. It just ticked all the boxes. The kit itself ticked all the boxes for me, and it just cemented my admiration for Mini Art, who I think are just fabulously adventurous.
I was very specific in this, and Mike Reeves has put, funny how there was no armor in the running. I was specifically only thinking about aircraft, actually, in sort of kit of the year. And I guess that's possibly because I could do another one for armor, and also because I hadn't really built a lot of armor this year. I built the Kettenkrad and I built the 48 scale National, but I didn't build anything very much else that wasn't like 130 years old. Panther, which was kind of the other one, I suppose. But it's sort of interesting in that I sort of stuck with that, really. But it also is interesting that none of us have chosen the most expensive kits that have kind of come out, have they? We've sort of
I haven't even, like I say, I haven't even seen the Phantom yet. So for all people are saying that's obviously kit of the year. Well, to me, it isn't, because I've got no experience of it.
Yeah.
So
I think these are our personal picks rather than a collective kind of.
Yeah, there's been a whole host of deeply impressive models released this year when you open a box. But if I can't actually translate that into an experience, a personal experience, I might say it looks like one of the nicest tooled kits this year because it's Tamiya, but I can't say it's my kit of the year because
I
got no idea.
We can split this into two things then. It's kit of the year in terms of the thing that we've built, and then we can have our own personal release of the year in terms of something that came out that we just thought, nice.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
for me,
also,
it's the Bronco again.
Yeah, well, indeed, and I think that's because now we get so many kits coming through, we get so many sort of projects coming through, don't we? It's hard to sort of pick the sort of the wheat from the chaff, if you sort of excuse the expression. These days, it's very rare that you get a kit that's poor. You know, on the whole, most kits that come out are good kits.
They bump along the extremely competent, at least.
Yeah. Occasionally you'll get you'll get the the odd 48 scale de Havilland Hornet that comes to sort of muddy the waters somewhat. And
you're never going to let that one go, are you?
No, not really. But in terms of an actual kits, it's very rare that you get kits that are poor or that are that hark back to the 1970s. Most kits these days are all CAD designed. They're tooled on high quality tooling. So when they come through, you look at it and go, yeah, that's cool, and all of that sort of stuff. And for modelers like us, that build quite a lot of stuff, yeah, Edward Zero looks like a brilliant kit to me. It looks like a phenomenal piece of work. I've seen photographs, so it looks great. But it's a Zero. There's lots of other Zeros out there.
Yeah.
So what sort of set the kits apart in terms of kit of the year is when you get something like, an OV10 Bronco that replaces a kit that hasn't been released or hasn't been tooled newly for like 45 years. 48 scale Picara hasn't been tooled in 48 scale almost in plastic ever. Well, it's never been done in plastic. So that sort of sets them apart. See another
if we're talking about aircraft, one that snuck in under the wire that I've got one en route to me, but I haven't seen it yet. But an incredibly sorely needed subject to do, and one that looks absolutely phenomenal, is that Armour P51B.
Yeah.
In 72nd, a subject that badly needed doing. I hate using needed because it's toys, but you know what I mean. It badly needed doing accurately and in a scale that is still perennially popular in Europe and Asia, if nowhere else.
Yeah.
And looks every inch the phenomenal release we all expected.
And we could go further than that. We need one in 48th.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that Edward have got that in the wings, haven't they? They are actually they have announced an intention to do that.
Yeah.
And I think along with that, we've seen very much an increase in sort of cross fertilization amongst these companies from Eastern and Central Europe. Happy Pavu. He took me to task for calling Poland Eastern Europe.
Ooh. Yes,
but we've seen a lot of cross fertilization between all these companies, which is working really, really well.
Yeah. It's an interesting, a kind of thing. But like you say, we're picking subjects that we think are taking into account, you're taking into account lots of different criteria, aren't you? You're not just taking into personal preference. John would pick the Whirlwind. I've no doubt.
I wouldn't.
No. But if you built it, I guarantee that would almost be a guarantee, wouldn't it? But the Whirlwind's another good example of that. Another aircraft was desperately needed as a release of some description. It could be argued that we could do with one on 72nd and 48th as well. 24th, 18th.
I think certainly a mainstream Whirlwind. Bearing in mind that Special Hobbies, whilst very nice, are still very much in of their limited run range. It's a subject that if Airfix were to approach it in 48th or 72nd, I think it's overdue for a bit more attention.
I would say, Mr. Luckhurst, if you are watching this evening or this afternoon rather, Westland Whirlwind. Yes,
it's certainly in need of it's very much in need of a.
Well, actually, I will qualify that, because my argument would be, if the good people at Hornby were crunching the numbers to say, what could we do next, I would say the Western Whirlwind, first of all, it fits in with the existing 48 scale lineup you've got of Spitfires, Hurricanes, Defiance, Blenheims. Whirlwind would slot in there quite nicely. Thank you very much. Tiger Moth, you've got it is in the same. I know it wasn't the Battle of Britain aeroplane, but it's in the same kind of ballpark. There are you could easily pop 2 releases of it. You could do fighter version, you could do a whirly bomber version, and you could have 2 distinct releases where you've got very different sets of markings in them and camouflage patterns.
There's the thing for an aircraft that was about 120 of them were made. There's a surprising variety of color schemes and special markings that it was.
And
you also have that extra thing with the Whirlwind. It's the coolest looking airplane of World War II.
You do. Fellas, I said this was going to be quick. I've just been called to eat, so I'm going to have to
quick 20 minutes, wasn't it?
Shoot off. So thanks for John, thanks for the microphone, thanks for the test. Drew, good to see you. It's always a pleasure, as usual. Can I just take this opportunity just before I go to wish everybody happy Christmas? Everybody that's online, not only that, everybody that's watched us over the last couple of years on this. Also, can I thank everybody that supported us as well in terms of sending us stuff? We've been able to do a lot of this work because we've got support from a great deal of very generous people who've not only supplied us with kits but also with paints, glues, everything. There's Froome, Jadlam as well. Also, the Hobby Company have been amazing. Antics have been great. But also on a personal level, I've been supported by Revell. I've been supported by the guys at Airfix. I've also been supported by the Airbrush Company as well, who've supplied me with material that I could use. A lot of what we do is kind of done in the background. That there's support networks for us in the background. We're very fortunate in that, and we can provide you with this kind of material, and also obviously they send stuff to the guys at work, but to Doolittle and to Marcus and Brett and everybody, and a lot of what we do is only possible because we get supported elsewhere, and at this time of year I think it's important that we say thank you, and also how grateful we are for what we get given. So for everybody that does do that, it's never something that any of us take for granted. It's always something that we can, that we are very aware that we're in kind of a lucky, rarefied atmosphere, really, that we're able to do that. So, from bottom of our hearts, really, thank you very much for all of that. And I know I speak for the other guys as well.
Indeed.
And also, and just very quickly as well, to the people this year that we've lost. Obviously we're sort of remembering them as well. There's been a few, most recently to Mike McAvoy, who we remember with great fondness. We did an entire show.
Well, funny you say that, because I'm just writing the obit for MAI, and I've had the chance to kind of dip back into some old Sams and then suddenly the obit isn't getting written because I'm just reading all this tail pieces.
Just reading,
stuff.
Oh, squirrel.
And it looks, and touch wood, things start to be, there's starting to be some good news coming out about this bloody COVID. So we're starting to sort of, maybe we can start to plan ahead for next year, and we can all get together. So thank you for that.
You might see the 3 of us at a model show at some stage. What a tantalizing prospect that is for you all.
You lucky people. People.
Yeah, so thanks very much for that. Everybody have a great Christmas. And to John and Drew, thanks for everything this year, guys. Much appreciated. Yep. And now I'm going to go and eat food and drink beer. And,
well, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to the boss. And we'll catch up. We'll probably, like I say, we'll do another pop-up at some stage.
Indeed, we're doing in the new. Well, it's my birthday on Tuesday, so we may do something then. So
you've got to buy him a birthday present, for crying out loud.
Yeah, subtle,
guys.
Subtle, real subtle.
Indeed. Everybody, take care. See you soon.
Merry Christmas.
Boom.
Glad he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh
dear.
I don't
Right.
mean that. Well, we'll carry on. We'll carry on for another 10 minutes. Just a couple of bits of housekeeping here is Dave Fleming says not much booze on display. Well, Dave, I've still got to go out and play Santa and drop presents off. So
do you know what? I've got barely any in the house. I've barely any booze in the house. For some reason, I just haven't. I haven't felt particularly boozy the last few weeks, and so I'll probably make up for it next week and get catastrophically drunk at some point. But
that's because you were thinking of coming up to mine because you knew that I've got literally like a brewery here at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I'm drinking a lot of tea at the moment. I'm drinking an awful lot of tea.
I'm drinking my awesome Christmas mug here, by the way. Look, it's got a little lid on it. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm drinking Caro, which is like a roasted oat coffee substitute, which is delicious. Very good. So I'm not. I will once I've done the last present run this afternoon. Then I'll get back. Then I'll have a glass of Advocaat because I'm dead sophisticated, like. And then
snowball.
I don't know why, but I kept thinking, no, I need a bottle of Advocaat. Finally, I'm not going to pay 10 quid for a bottle of Vornix. Sorry, Vornix, if you're watching. We would welcome the corporate sponsorship, but I just waited until Lidl did their own, and I got one, and I thought, Advocaat, one mouthful in, and I'm like, why do I drink this stuff? It's horrible. But there we go.
I actually quite like it, but I don't. Yeah, it's not
it's like alcoholic scrambled egg. It's just
well.
Yeah.
So you're not actually not selling it to me.
Well, also, Dave says as we said, Dave said not much booze on display. I will thank Dave. He did send me a bottle of Glenfiddich last year, which I did start dipping into when I was doing the last chapter of A Christmas Carol the other night. And for those of you who don't know, heaven help you, every year I do a live reading of Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens's. And so this year, Dave's
what the Dickens
indeed. Dave's kind gift of a bottle of Glenfiddich was used for the final chapter. But no, we will be. Don't worry, we're not amateurs, And Matthew Walker says should at least be a dram of brandy being. Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. Anyway, look. We've also got Ben Brown says happy Xmas folks from at the Sywell Aviation Museum, and thank you, Ben, because you know what, Drew, I think the Sywell Aviation Museum is going to be one of the venues on the epic road trip we're going to do eventually.
Eventually, that we've been promising ourselves
tour of museums.
Yes, that we've been promising for years, and got interrupted by disease.
Yeah, well, we've got an invitation from Newark. We've got one from it's not one from Sywell, but I'm sure the people at Sywell will be delighted to see us eating our way through their.
We haven't got one from Sywell yet.
No, but no, I'm sure once they realise how much we'll consume in their gift shop and cafe, that'll be fine. But no, thank you, Ben. That's very kind of you. And also from Jad Lamb saying not got the time to sit in today, kids stuff. But wanted to wish you all very Merry Christmas. Well, thank you, Jad Lam. That's very kind of you. And like I say, this is just a little pop-up to try and sort Spencer's microphone out, which is great. And
which is now sorted.
Which is now sorted. And Moz, well, here's the thing. Moz Model says Glenfiddich is fantastic. I'll tell you what, though, Lidl's £10.79 single grain Scotch. It's pretty good stuff, actually. I've been using that. I've been using that to power my Sunday night ghost stories, and it's good. It's very good. Anyway, welcome to the interesting everything else other than modelling company tonight. That's a Christmas. It's the Christmas bonus. Mike Williams says I've just finished work, came home to homemade sausage rolls and a large gin and tonic. Merry Christmas to one and all. Merry Christmas to you, Mike. Yes. Moz says Ben Bracken is good too. Yep, I've had the Ben Bracken, and that is very, very nice. I'm
pootling around playing flight simulators and building models on Christmas Eve, so I'm quite happily ensconced in a warm house. doing all that at the moment?
Well, I've got this SAS Bushmaster, the paint, over the Christmas holidays. It's all structurally completed. I would say not the most challenging model to build, but the thing there is Dragon they've molded. It's actually quite good for in terms of Dragon, known for being overly complex sometimes. They've tended to mold stuff into one part rather than splitting it up into about 5. And so it does make for a really quite a straightforward model to build. So I'm just going to give that. I will give that a coat of British sand at some stage, and just keep that one nice and simple. A little bit of a wash to pop the detail, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
Not overthink it.
Fair enough.
No.
Not overthinking it.
So your plan for the rest of the day, Drew, is video games, make models.
Yeah, video games and making models. See, we're going places. See, it's getting there. So, yeah, I think everybody's on holiday. Yeah, so why not? Why not spend it rather than getting it drunk? Rather than getting drunk, just spend it building models and playing video games.
Well, at some stage, I've got to get this and start putting this to good use, because finally got one. Hurrah! The good news / bad news for those of you watching means that we will hopefully start launching our interesting modeling company shorts, which will be nice little 3-4 minute videos, very basic how-to videos on things like how I make my black super glue, those kinds of things, little tricks and cheats and things. We won't be using the word ultimate, because I don't know about you, Drew, but how many YouTube videos do you come across that describe themselves as the ultimate?
Yeah, it's almost like with this one simple trick kind of thing.
No, exactly. It's words are very funny sometimes. And Mike Reeves says, we are hosting family tonight. It is 9 a.m. here in Phoenix, and the beer fridge is already calling me. And,
go for it, Mike, and go for it, and jolly good luck.
Yeah, jolly good luck to you, young man. And Dale Lucker says, Merry Crimbo, folks. Merry Crimbo to you,
Merry
Dale.
Christmas, Dale.
And Tim Cavalier says, an extra dram of Irish cream in the coffee this morning. Cheer. Obviously, more than a dram, that he's left the S off the end of cheers. So
yeah, we're seeing quite a bit of keyboard failure going on today.
We are. I tell you what, you can tell it's Christmas Eve, because suddenly the level of literacy out there has, as much as we tend to be the grammar Stasi, this is yes. I will be marking your homework later on, folks, and there are Fs all round. Let's put it that way.
Much hilarity. Much hilarity.
Do you know what? I still haven't got round to watching Martin's videos the last couple of weeks. It's just been so hectic here with his Jagdpanther.
Just treat yourself, because
it's mad, isn't it?
Treat yourself.
The figures he did for it.
You know you're going to be seeing pretty much perfection in action. So yeah, they are. Yeah. Right. With that, I suddenly feel the need for some beer, so I'm off to go and buy some beer.
Well, I've got to go and wrap some. Presents with Santa's little helper here, or Santa's little unhelper, as he is, and then I've got to go out and drop some final bits and pieces off to everybody. Honestly, people probably think, old JM, he's a right old curmudgeon, but no, Christmas Eve, there I am, out and about, being a right old Santa. At least I think that's what people say anyway.
Right, go on.
Right, on that note, as ever, thank you to everybody for tuning into our little, very brief live soiree tonight, technical soiree. It goes without saying, thank you for all your support throughout the year. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you very soon.
We'll see you next week,
everybody.
No doubt. Take it easy.
Bye.